Hi everyone and welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, where I'll be giving you 6 of my best bets for tomorrow's horse racing action across the UK and also as well in Ireland. We'll have a couple of selections over the Irish Sea and I'll get into those in a minute. But before we get into those, just do our quick recap. And yeah, today was a day of firing blanks, nothing to write home about at all. Very frustrating day. We often get these, you often have a good streak and then it comes to an end and then you might get the odd bad day here and there, and we've just had one of those days today where, to be honest, I don't think we really had too many hard luck stories. I think there's excuses, or the horses they all had valid reasons and pretty much lived up to their form. I think it all started though for us in the 140 at Ayr with Quick Look. Now he was a horse that I'm gonna keep on side for next time. I think he did run his race, and the fact that he was showing that he was still in form, but he had a bit of a weird race, and the fact that he got into a bit of traffic problems, and Nathan Evans, who was aboard, he kept bringing him out towards the inside of the track, towards the left-hand side of the track, which was quite unusual. He was trying to get out of the way and get him a clear run, but he never really did get a clear run, and maybe the track just didn't suit him. Maybe a sharper track like Chester, where he won last year, that might be a bit more his cup of tea. But yeah, Quick Look, it was a strange race. Go back and watch the replay, but I think on soft ground he is still potentially well handicapped. So yeah, I'm not complaining too much. I think it was quite a warm race, and it's a race that will work out quite well, but he still showed that he had a glimmer of ability. And he could definitely win in a race anytime soon, so he's not one to give up on, and I would be interested to see where he runs next. We then had our next best, which ran in the 3 o'clock at Utoxeter with Jimmy Rabbit. Now, I actually think he ran all right, considering, again, it was maybe looking back now with a bit of hindsight, for the grade, it was quite a competitive race, but Jimmy Rabbit, to be fair, he showed that he did get the 3 miles, and he probably just lacked the run, and he probably will come forward for that. He did plug on quite gamely. I think he ran on into 5th place in the end, behind Mr. Universum. And one thing I noticed today at Utoxeter, it didn't really pay to be too far back, and that's what happened with our long shot, Brian Barana. Now, I know he normally runs like that. He's normally a hold-up horse that normally will then come when horses are getting tired, and he'll come with his challenge to win the race. But yeah, he just really couldn't get into the race, He wasn't really being niggled along. It looked all right for a long way, but then when push came to shove, he just couldn't pass beaten horses, and he just got tired himself. Maybe he needed the run. Maybe the race was a bit too warm for him, but there was a bit of money down for him. We put him at 12-1 each way last night, and he went off 13-2, I think it was. So there was a bit of market confidence that he was going to run a good race, but yeah, in the end, he was fairly disappointing. And to be fair, the handicapper might drop him a couple of pounds, and if he's going to go for a race maybe like the Durham National that they often run at Sedgefield every year, a race that I think he should have won last year, if I remember correctly. I think it was a very messy race. I can't remember if he fell or there was some controversy anyway, I think last year. But yeah, Brian Barani, I think he'll have his day in the sun in the future, but yeah, it wasn't to be today. And then in the 5:15 at Windsor, my nap, Amplify, I think he ran all right, to be honest with you. Just think he's in the handicapper's grip. If the handicapper releases it and drops him down a couple of pounds, I think he will definitely be capable of winning races. He ran all right. I think he finished in 4th place in the end. But yeah, he just wasn't good enough on the day. No excuses with him. But yeah, I just think he's not one to give up on. He will be winning races, but maybe at the moment it's not the time to side with him. But then we went on to our lay, which was Moretti, and yeah, got that wrong. At one point, I thought we looked quite nice with the lay. Moretti, she was at the back and being niggled along, and you were thinking that some of the other horses, they were going to get first run on her, and it was going to be too late, and she might be staying on into the place money or something. But no, no, fair play to her. She stuck at it and she won in quite nice style. Yeah, so yeah, it was just one of those days today where it all went wrong for us. You know, and that's the way it goes sometimes. And I know some people are going to be saying, like, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, we've been doing this now since the 1st of June, keeping a profit and a loss tally, and we were up for June, and we've had a good start to July. Today, I will admit, has been our worst day in July, but before that we were on a nice little streak. But fingers crossed we can pick it up tomorrow and start doing better towards the latter end of the week, where we're going to have some good racing. We've got the July Cup coming back. There's some decent racing going on at the July course at Newmarket. Normally their July festival, but obviously there will be no racing fans there. And there's going to be the reorganised Dante and Musadora stakes at York. So it'd be really interesting to see what lines up in those races. I think the decks come out for the York races tomorrow, so it'd be interesting to see what turns up. But yeah, a good week in store, and hopefully we can get back amongst the winners. And we'll start off tomorrow with just one of my extra tips, but this horse did go into my tracker last time out at Pontefract. And it's a horse called Illusionist. Now, this horse used to be trained by Archie Watson and now has moved hands to Grant Tuer. And Paul Mulrennan is going to be put for the ride tomorrow, and you can currently back him at 6-1 each way, and that's the recommended bet. Now, this horse was all right for Archie Watson. He was the typical Watson sharp, bright early 2-year-old. You know, he showed a lot of promise. He finished 5th in the Windsor Castle behind Seven Hills. You know, so he showed a good level of ability. But then I think maybe that hard start to his career just kind of blew him out for the rest of the season, and he just needed to be put away and come back again next year. Now, moving to Grant Tuer's, he ran a really good race on stable debut in the Palace of Holyrood Handicap at Royal Ascot, you know, and he was very eye-catching in my opinion, and that's why he went into my tracker. He finished 6th when he was 150-1 chance, but we know big odds shots can win some big races at the moment. Obviously, we had the likes of the Coventry winner. We've done all right ourselves with a 50-1 and 100-1 each way in the last couple of weeks, you know, so you can get some big price winners at the moment, and it would have been no surprise really on his effort to think that he can't go well tomorrow, because he did run on really strongly, and the handicap has actually dropped him to a mark of 91. He actually dropped him £1 for that run, and I thought he was quite eye-catching. The winner of that race, of course, was Art Power, and he went on to win a group race in Ireland at the weekend, so there is some substance to that form already. And I just think Illusionist tomorrow in this race, currently priced up at 6-1, I think he's a good chance of definitely going very close. And if he doesn't win, I could definitely see him making the frame. So that's why I'm going to recommend him each way. And I think he's got a strong chance as our opening bet tomorrow in the 150 at Pontefract. We then go with our Longshot, which runs in the 250 at Pontefract, with a horse called Athmad for Ruth, Carr and James Sullivan. Now, I know for a lot of people, Ruth Carr is a really hard trainer to get right, but I just think this season I've started to just kind of, I think I've worked her out, if that makes sense, in the sense that I think I know sometimes where you might want to catch her horses, and I'm praying that I've got it right tomorrow with Athmad. Now, we actually put up a Ruth Carr horse last week called Highland Declaim, you might remember, and he drifted out. I think he might have gone off 16-1. But anyway, he got us some each way profit, and he stormed home to finish in 2nd place. And he just needed the run that day, and he was well handicapped on old form. And this has got a similar profile really. He's had a couple of runs now, so he should be fit. And he ran a really credible race to finish 5th at Doncaster, which I think was actually a warmer contest last time out there, and he's going to be running in tomorrow at Pontefract. And off 69, I think he's dangerous. The form of that Doncaster race worked out okay, because the 2nd place horse went on to win at Musselburgh. He's not got a bad draw, he's not drawn out in the car park, you know. And Ruth Carr's horses, they don't normally win when they're favourites. They're normally big priced. They're normally a big price when they win. I think I remember she said one time in an interview that she actually backs her horses, and she likes backing them at ridiculous prices. So, and that's where she's had success in the past. So, yeah, I think Athmad tomorrow has got a good chance of going well, and I wouldn't be at all concerned if there was a drift. You know, if there is a drift, I'm not too concerned. You know, I think the horse has shown that he's definitely capable of winning the race soon. And at 10-1 tomorrow, I'm going to recommend him as my long shot tip for tomorrow. So he's my long shot there. We then go with with my next best, which runs in the 3:30 at Roscommon, a listed race, and I'm going to take a chance with Pondus here, currently 7-4 for Wayne Lordan and Joseph O'Brien. Now, this horse used to be trained in England by James Fanshawe last season and was really progressive and did really well in Group 3s and listed company. You know, he did really well, and his best bits of form really were when he showed a decent second place outing at Haydock behind Abbot, who's a Group 1 winner now. Even though obviously they're in Australia, some people might not think Australian Group 1 form is that good, but he still ran a blinder against the likes of Magical. You know, I think it was in the Prince of Wales, wasn't it, that he ran at Royal Ascot, you know, behind Lord North, wasn't it? So you got to think that he's got good form, and he probably just needed the run last time out. He was a bit rusty, but he did fly home, and he did finish in second place in a listed contest at Limerick. And the winner had first run on him that day and had been prominent throughout, whereas this horse had been stuck out the back. And there's going to be probably a little bit of rain in Ireland tomorrow. There's showers coming in, and if the ground does get a bit softer, that's going to help Pondus because he likes a little bit of cut. So I think there's a lot in his favour tomorrow, and at 7-4 I think he's got a solid chance of going all the way, and he's definitely the one to beat in the race. So that's why he's going to be my next best. We're then going to go with another extra tip, which runs as our only selection at Newton Abbot tomorrow in the 3:45. I like Newton Abbot. I've only been there once, but it's a nice small jumps track down in Devon if you've never been there. It's not far from Exeter, it's just the other side, and you can actually see, it's unlike other tracks, you can pretty much see the whole race course. It's pretty much dead flat, and you can see all the way around it, and it's got a great view. And this horse that I'm going with tomorrow, His Dream, for John Joe O'Neill Jr. and John Joe O'Neill Sr., I think he's got a good chance in this race tomorrow. He's well handicapped now. He's down to a mark of 102, and he actually won a race at Stratford-upon-Avon last year on good ground over this sort of trip, off a mark of 106, you know, so he's now £4 below his last winning mark. And the key to him is good ground. When he's run on soft ground in the past, that's not his gravy, and I think they found a good chance for him to go very well tomorrow. And at 5-1, I'm just going to recommend a win bet, but I think he's got, like I say, a decent chance. And if you look at some of the rivals, some of them might be a bit high in the weights. They've got to prove they stay at the trip, you know. And this horse, he's well handicapped, he likes good ground, and the plus as well is that John Joe O'Neill, the team had a winner today, and John Joe O'Neill can often have some good summer campaigns, you know. Sometimes it's time to catch him during the summer. And he had a nice winner at Uttoxeter today, that won, I think, quite snugly in my opinion. So yeah, His Dream tomorrow. I think he's got a good chance on some of his old form, and at 5-1 I'll be willing to give him a chance there, but just as a win only bet. We then go my lay of the day, which comes in the 4:30 at Pontefract, and I'm going to take on Avenue of Stars here. Currently lay him at 4.4 on the Betfair Exchange for Ben Curtis and Michael Appleby. Now, last time we saw him, he finished third at Chepstow, and that race was won by Past Fact, who we tipped up here at 9-2 to win on my YouTube channel. And he's a bit of a quirky customer. Sometimes he refuses to race. I think on his first start of the season he might have refused to race. But the reason I want to take him on tomorrow is he's going to be stepping up in grade, and I think there's some useful, well-handicapped rivals in this field tomorrow. The one that jumps out the page at me is Sheepscar Lad, who hasn't won in a long time for Nigel Tinkler, but is ridiculously well-handicapped now, and he's such a consistent horse, and the fact that he often makes the frame, but he doesn't win. But I just think tomorrow could be his time, and you can't rule out the likes of Mr. Wagyu, who's been running okay, and he still remains off a workable mark. You've got Mutahabi as well for Anthony Britton, and all these horses are fairly well treated, and this is going to be a step up in grade from that race at Chepstow. And I just think with his quirks, and he's got a step up in grade, I think he's a vulnerable favourite tomorrow in my opinion, and I like to take him on, so that's why he's going to be my lay of the day. We then go my nap, the one you've all been waiting for, that runs in the 6 o'clock at Killarney, our other tip over the RSC. I'm going to take a chance here with Peregrine Run for Kevin Sexton and Peter Fahey, currently 11-4, best odds at the time of recording. Now, this horse was a credit to Connections last year, and he's been a credit to Connections all the way through his career. He actually won this race last year. He mixed it over hurdles, and he was mixing it in graded and listed company. Finished fourth as well in the Galway Plate, which was a valiant effort behind Boris and Black Horton, I think it was, were the first two that day. And I think that's where he's going to be heading again this year. Now, on ratings, he's officially the best horse in the race. He's rated 158, and he does have to give away a penalty, but even on ratings and giving away a penalty, you know, know, he should be all right, I think. And he's had a recent run. He was really eye-catching, I thought, when he ran a good race at Limerick when he finished in 3rd place. He plugged on really gallantly. He was 18-1 in the betting that day, but obviously it was clear that he was just there to get a run into him, because obviously they probably want to target a few of these graded races again with him. And if we had grade 1s in the summer for summer jumps, this horse would surely be a grade 1 summer jumps horse, you know, because he's been so consistent and he's one of the best customers around. But when we get a more softer ground and the better national hunt horses come out, he kind of just gets put back in his place. But he's a great fun horse, and I think at 11-4 tomorrow he represents a bit of value there, and I could see him going off maybe 15-8, 2-1 favourite tomorrow. I wouldn't be at all surprised there. Definitely wouldn't drift out. I think there'll be solid market support for him, especially when they see the price at 11-4, which I thought was a bit big. But yeah, I think he represents a good bit of value there, and I think he will win this race again. So they're my 6 best tips for tomorrow. Just quickly run through it. In the 150 at Pontefract, we go with Illusionist at 6-1 each way for Grant Tuer. In the 250 at Pontefract, we go with Athmad for Ruth, Carr at 10-1 each way is my long shot. My next best runs in the 330 at Roscommon with Pondus, 7-4 win only bet. We then go to the 345 at Newton Abbot for the jumps card with His Dream, 5-1. That's one of my extra tips tomorrow, and that's a win only bet. My lay of the day comes in the 430 at Pontefract with Avenue of Stars, where you can currently lay at 4.4 on the Betfair Exchange. And then my final tip is my nap, which runs in the 6 o'clock at Killarney for the evening jumps card there. I'm going to take a chance here with Peregrine Run, when you can currently lay him at 11-4. So yeah, they're the 6 best tips for tomorrow's race in action. So to not miss out on any of my videos, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, give us a like, and let me know what your best bets are in the comments box below tomorrow. Like looking at those. So if you fancy anything, let me know, and we can have maybe a little bit of a chat about it. And if you want to follow me on social media as well, you can do, where my handle is at LuckyLoader15. And if you want to know a little bit more about myself, you can check out my website, which is www.chrisloaderracing.co.uk. So that's all I got to say, really. So hopefully we can have some winners tomorrow. Please gamble responsibly, and we'll be seeing you soon.